I'm sitting here today with Tory Woollcott, author of Mirror Mind, which is a wonderful graphic novel about Tory's experience growing up with dyslexia. So we're going to have a short interview with her today and just find out what makes Tory tick and a little bit about the book. So what are the most played songs on your iPod?
The most played songs on my iPod are Barely Recognize You by Elysian Fields, The Killing Moon by Echo and the Bunnymen, and Part of the Process by Morchiba.
What is the last book you read?
The last book I read is a book called To Your Sacred Bodies Go. It's part of the River World series. It's by Philip Jose Farmer, and it's amazing. And right before that I read Mansfield Park by Jane Austen.
And you can check those out at your local
You
Toronto
check
Public
those out,
Library
right?
branch.
From your local Toronto Public Library branch.
Speaking of the Toronto Public Library, what is your favorite Toronto Public Library branch?
My favorite public library branch is the Lillian
H. Smith branch.
The Lillian H. Smith branch. It's funny because I never know the name of it because I just go, you know that library with the really awesome statues outside of it? With the dragon and the griffin, it's amazing. So whenever I say, you know the Griffin Lion Library, everybody goes, yes! Yes we do! And I just love going there, just hanging out in it, and they have that amazing science fiction section.
The Merrill Collection, that's right. And then they have the Osborne Collection of early children's literature.
Yes, I love that. Everything like that. I love the Toronto Public Libraries. They're pretty cool. Shameless plug!
What is your favorite spot in the city?
Mirvish Village, definitely.
There you go, and that's where we are right now.
Right now.
So where did you learn to draw? Are you self-taught? Did you go to school for it?
I went to school for archaeology,
Okay.
10 years of studies at U of T, and one of the things I learned there was archaeological illustration, which I did for a few years part-time, and so I learned how to draw pots and how to draw animal bones really well, but I didn't really learn how to draw people or comic books in that sense. I just love to doodle in the sides of the sides of my notebooks and things like that. And then I got assigned a class project to do a comic book while I was in university, and I just drew it. And since then, I've taken a couple of classes, but just self-taught really.
It's amazing. I love it. Did you have a choice between a black and white format or a color format when you began doing this book?
Sort of. When I first started doing it, when I first started Mirror Mind, it was a 17-page class assignment. I was planning to print it out and then to color it in with pencil crayons. But when I printed it out, I was like, this looks really nice, just being straight black and white. And so I just ended up doing it that way. And as I was expanding the book into the larger format, number one, color is really expensive. to print books out with color is really expensive. And number two, it's very difficult to color things. It's an art unto itself. A lot of comic books are drawn, inked, and penciled and colored by 3 different people. And I just realized that there was a whole other dimension to the story, that when you are doing your story, to add color is another level, another string in the tapestry of your story. And I just thought, I can tell my story in black and white, and I think that's how I want to tell it.
So not many books are written about disabilities that are as accessible as Mirror Mind. And I love the way your book tells your story. It's so...
Writing an autobiocomic, let alone a comic about something that is wrong with you. Having a learning disability is a really strange thing, because it's when you're a kid and you're diagnosed with having an LD, it's kind of like you're this glass sculpture, and somebody comes up to you and just smashes you and just goes, okay, there you go, have fun rebuilding that, see you later. And you have to struggle through this and try and figure out your identity, and you feel like you've been smashed and somebody took a part of you and walked away with it. And here's that part of you that made you normal, made you like everybody else. Yeah, you look normal, and yeah, you can speak like a normal person, and you can fool people into thinking you're normal, but I've got that piece of you that made you normal, and I'm going to go now. And as a kid, just thinking that you're imperfect, you're not as good as everyone else, shocking and devastating. And when you grow up and you look back on it, you go, oh, that's not true at all. That never was there anything wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm a little different. But everybody is a little different. You can't say like,
nobody is normal.
Nobody is normal. I'm
what does
waiting.
the word even mean?
Exactly. The school I'm talking was great.
What high school did you go to? Did you grow up in Toronto?
I did. I went to West Toronto Collegiate Institute. It's a really small school. It was right by Lansdowne, but it had an amazing special ed program, and just such caring, wonderful teachers, and it was such an experience to get to go there. It was really great.
You're talking about caring, wonderful teachers, and in your book you have a teacher, Mrs. Hardsmith, who actually put you and your classmates in a closet.
She did. Writing the book just let me access those memories and sort of exercise those demons. And it's funny because I met Miss Hardsmith again later in life, and I was really freaked out. I was like, oh gosh, but it turned out that she had cancer on her thyroid that had been so she had this cancer on her thyroid, and it had been pumping all sorts of horrible chemicals into her body. And I'm not saying that what she did was okay, and I'm not trying to make an excuse for her, but she was really sick, and she didn't know she was sick. And yeah.
What was the hardest part of writing the book?
The hardest part of writing Mirror Mind was looking back at my life and just remembering things that I wanted to forget and that I didn't want to admit to myself had happened, and I didn't really understand, and had to sit and muse on my life. And it's hard to turn your life from just being your life and a sequence of events into a narrative, like into an actual story with a beginning, middle, and end.